Hey, it's Eric here from erikzmusic.com, and I'm going to do a demo of single coil parallel series switching for guitar pickups. Mostly because if you've seen any of my other YouTube videos or checked out my website, you know I have a couple of guitars that are wired with a lot of different mini switches, and I get a lot of questions about what they do and how they're wired and whatnot. So I'm going to do a demo for you to show you what it's all about. So to start with, it's important to understand exactly what a guitar pickup is. And for your standard single coil pickup, all it really is just some magnets with copper coil wrapped around them a few thousand times. One end of the wire is the ground, and the other end is your actual signal that heads to your amplifier. Now, obviously, there are exceptions to this, but for the vast majority of pickups, that's all there is, just wire and some magnets. A humbucker pickup is slightly more complicated. It's basically just two single coil pickups that are hooked together and are right next to each other, with one of the pickups wound in reverse and its polarity flipped. So, just like XLR or other balanced cables, it uses common mode rejection to eliminate the noise and hum, hence why they're called humbuckers. Now, most of the time in your standard off the shelf guitar, humbuckers are wired in series. What this means is that all of the signal from the first coil has to pass through the second coil before heading to the output of your guitar. Now, this creates the most gain, however, it also compresses the signal, but this will give you your classic humbucker sound. The alternate way to wire a humbucker is in parallel. So instead of passing all the signal of one coil through the other, in a parallel wiring setup, the output of each coil is combined independently at the output of your guitar. This is sort of like the 2 or 4 position on a Strat, in that you get that thinner Strat-like tone while still remaining hum canceling. The third way that I have my guitars wired is with a coil cut switch. All this does is turn off one of the coils so you're only using one at a time. It's basically turning your humbucker into a single coil. Now, to get the switching on my guitars, I use a 3-way double pull, double throw, on mini switch for each humbucker. But there are many other ways of doing this, push pull pots, rotary switches, mega switches, and all that sort of stuff. It really all depends on what you want and how adventurous you are with wiring. My guitar actually has one additional 2-way mini switch that I use to engage the bridge humbucker at any time, but that doesn't change the coils at all. It's more of just an extension of the 5-way switch. So let's move on to some sounds. I'll start with some clean tones with both the neck and bridge pickups in each wiring configuration, and then we'll work our way through some different overdrives and maybe even some fuzz. I'll be playing everything through my Warmoth Strat into a PV5150 head into an open back 112 cab with a Celestion Vintage 30 speaker. So there you have it. Hoped that helped give you a better understanding of series parallel single coil wiring for guitar. When playing, it really is great to be able to have so many different switches. I mean, for me personally, it's almost sort of like a high gain, medium gain, low gain switch, and that's kind of how I like to use it. And I really like having all those different wiring possibilities. So for more information on my wiring configuration, my gear, my music, videos, and all that stuff, please visit my website, www.erikzmusic.com. All right, thanks for watching.